Hi everybody, it's Neal Weichel with Remax, and yes, it's very cold outside. We had snow in Santa Clarita this last weekend, which is kind of unusual, but the real estate market isn't as cold as some people think it is. And what I mean by that is I talk to potential sellers all the time, and I talk to buyers, of course, too, but especially sellers. And for whatever reason, maybe it's everything we experienced last year, in many cases, they actually think it's a bad time to sell their home. They heard all the bad stories. They maybe even watched my video from 6 months ago about how things had come to a screeching halt, which they did. And buyers were waiting for prices to come crashing down. And sellers were taking their homes off the market. And we just kind of had a really slow second half of the year. Well, an interesting thing happened as we went into December. Buyers started to get used to the idea that rates were going to kind of stay where they were, and they didn't have a lot of choices. And we came into January and now February, and oh my goodness, the market's changed again. It's actually not a bad time to be a seller at all. In fact, in many cases, it's an amazing time to be a seller because we have another low mark of homes for sale. 247 homes for sale in a valley of 250,000 people. We actually have now flipped. Instead of having lots of homes for sale and not many in escrow, we now have more homes in escrow than we do for sale. And that's a sign of a market that's really favorable for sellers. Does that mean that prices are going up? Maybe not. Maybe in some cases they might, because buyers have so few choices. And yet sellers still think it's not a good time. Why? Because of articles like this. This drives me crazy. The great slowdown, the 10 US cities where home sales are down the most, and they go through these 10 cities. These are some of the hottest cities we had a year ago. Areas like Salt Lake City or Vegas or Tucson. Guys, Ventura, California is in here. And if you read about Ventura, California, the sales are off 60% from last year. You would think it might be an awful time to sell your home. Friends, I promise you, you put your home for sale in Ventura, you're going to have a waiting line of buyers to come into your home. The message is simple. The market's changed again. It hasn't changed the way it was a year ago. You can't name your own price. You're not going to have maybe 10, 12, 15 crazy offers, but you might have 2 or 3. And if the best time to sell something is when you don't have a lot of competition, well, guess what? It's a great time to be a seller.